Hello there, my name is Rachel. I can talk about animation, and today we'll talk about Owl House Season 3, the final episode, Episode 3. And this episode was surprisingly really good. It's something that starts really slow at first because it's all about the collector and Luz, and how the Luz trying to convince the collector, especially if the collector is a god. That's sort of hard to accomplish that. Trying hard to make it understand what he's doing is sort of wrong. Misunderstanding what's death. You can't fix someone because it has sort of too much complication. But the creator did it. It actually did. The first 10 minutes make you believe that collector is understanding why he's alone, understanding Luz and collector understand each other, because that's really hard to do because the collector is the ultimate boss now works. Because if you don't know how you're doing, understanding the conversation, understanding the main lead and the villain, they can easily fall apart because you can say magic and friendship, and that usually what happens and ruin the whole series. But no, they knew they need time. They knew they had to give a very specific pacing, even though risking to be boring. And let's face it, it was a little bit very beginning because it sort of tossed you in the battlefield while in a battle. It's just a chasing after chasing, understanding the collector still a child, a very powerful child, but yet they actually did it. That's the most oppressive thing. Of course, I think the most interesting is they sort of dropped the horror aspect of this final episode. You could disagree with me because they do have horror moments, but nothing that or anything. It's still okay because they have to focus on the story. Yeah, I'm okay with that because it delivered. Let's face it, specifically with Bellows, like he was still at it, still dragging his feet straight to the Titan heart to control, to have this ultimate power to destroy the collector, lose everyone. And that sort of delusion of his. And that is just kind of great because at the very end, you got pay up. He being defeated because his own incompetency. Well, not incompetency, more his own comeuppance. But besides that, I just adore this whole series became a kaiju battle, but a more like kind of anime kaiju emotions. But did so well because I wasn't not expecting a kaiju battle. No, it was. Even that every time they do introduce in the Western cartoon a kaiju battle, usually is short, not that grand. No, this was grand, especially when battles become this sort of ultimate battles, ultimate titan that you could see of other planets, just his hand popping out. Like they really stuck the landing. They understood this had to be cinema. They understood one up each other, and not just once, multiple times. That just sort of surprising how Luz almost completely died by touching the power of Bellows, protecting the collector. Even he trying to make you understand, even that collector thinks he's that powerful, nothing hurts him, or at least the concept of getting hurt. It just sort of, I love that sort of kind of combine both ideas to make the collector understand the concept of death, concept of punishment, that everything has a cause and effect, in other words. And that's just so good. Especially you find out after Luz dies and the person who saved her is actually King's father, that I think no one was expecting the old man still be alive or semi-alive, especially have this sort of like father type of body, like 30 overweight old man, but very charming. That he's just been there for 2 or 3 minutes that you just fell in love with the guy. Let's face it, you know a type of father like him that's sort of overweight but very charming. I just enjoyed it. I could wish you had more time with the character, of course, because this is what happens. That's the one time you have. They made it work. But I also love they do explain the magic. I mean, they did, but the signs, all the kind of signature signs that Luz does, all the little drawings, they even explain it really briefly. It's just sort of words of the Titans, specifically King's father. Yeah, I thought that sort of fascinating. They just quickly, briefly mention it, but yet that explains so much how Luz understand it, because King's father trusts Luz because she understood him and hear her, even that she doesn't really understood what this magic really was. And that's make it sort of kind of wholesome, very magical. Excuse me, the pun, but because it really is. That's sort of hard to make it work while sounding kind of corny, but they did. They just make it so well. I think the second thing that she came to life after King's father gave her a chance to get an upgrade for a few minutes, like it's cliche, but done so well because when she came back, given this her SD Machina supercharge, it was I was amazed of the design they chose for her Dragon Ball Z Next Evolution that was day-to-day thing because it just feels something like some cosplayer went crazy of data that decided to make it sort of a wish like a skeleton wizard or a wolf kind of thing or cat. Let's face it, we don't know what it is, but I like it. Yeah, 100% sure a lot of people wear the idea of that now. Like, I'm okay with that. I accept this. I accept this for my people. Yes, I am a Latino, so yeah, I really enjoy that. But I love that they never slow down the pain. That's usually the problem with this sort of season finales. They want to make it all adventurous, while the emotion, the kind of happy, not sure herself. Especially what happened to the Outwish King. They see Lucy died, and they just freaked out. That once again, that's sort of hard to make it work sound believable because we know all these characters, how they act, feel. We actually expect them to be something else. That's the thing. We understand them so much. Yeah, I love that they keep it true to them when they freak out. It feels real. And that's the thing. That's the key word. Every little choice they make of this special feels uniquely them. That's just so well written. I really enjoy that. Of course, I really love even more how everything sort of stopped changing for a second. That moment that everybody realized we have to stop battles. We have one shot. And it just rolled down. Everybody trying to understand what's going on. You feel that sort of this is our last shot kind of emotion. And that I just appreciate that moment. It's like everybody trying to figure it out, everybody just one with it. That it's just so hard to do the season finale because usually they let's face it, how many animation you've seen kind of ruins that the final season, the final episode. Quite a lot. It's sort of hard to land to balance so many things. It just work. Especially how they kind of defeat battles, helping the collector, helping the group of the kids and everybody together. It just sort of kind of magical. That feels just so rewarding. Especially how Luz finally defeats Bellows and Bellows trying one more trick, one more slime ball move that asking for forgiveness, asking to save them. But I love it. They stop in the middle of the whole series explaining, actually thinking about what the difference of Luz and Bellows. Because the very end is sort of very similar, but very different. Because Bellows wants to be a hero, trying to feed his ego. Luz wants to save her family. But what's the difference? Because in the end, they want to save someone. But the question is, who is the right person to do? And that usually is sort of kind of mixed. It's not mixed. It's always kind of the same side in a way, if you know what I mean. Because sometimes it's sort of hard to not to blur the two ideas together. Because sometimes it is. Sometimes it's the same thing. But I love it. They make a point. There is a difference. Bellows doing it for selfish needs, not to help no one, only himself, his ego. Luz is doing it because she loves her family. She wants to protect them. That's the difference. The reason why. And even talking about it, that's just sort of refreshing because not a lot of people do this in the animated series. They try, but usually they just kind of like just great, just big SD Machina for no apparent reason. But I love it. They did it. Especially how Luz do that sort of kind of like a not trope cliche that he asks for help. Usually the hero does help it and get tricked one more time, but no, she's just watch, because the very end, that's all it is. To see the villain self-destruct. Even they actually add one little joke. The rest of the characters, the side characters, King and the Owl Witch, just stab him and crushes him because this is the last body parts left. I was, let's face it, it was satisfying and funny, but at the same time, you expect the heroes to be more mature. No, it feels right. I mean, sometimes you should do that, sometimes you don't. It's that nobody knows how to do it the right way. The fact they risked a lot to ruin the characters if they did it, but no, they did it just right. It just feels so well. Now the whole thing ends with the magic dying and King becoming the new Titan, the one who uses their power. But I love that they do explore this completely different. I like that you did also have sort of a time skip. What happened to everyone? What happened the last couple of years? How Luz dedicated her life to fix the bowling lanes, fix the school, and everybody just so happy she helped. They wanted to work her making her own quinceañera. Not the best quinceañera. The fact was like, I mean, a birthday is fine. You don't have to be traditional, but the thought counts. I mean, if you're not Mexican or you at least see Luz month reaction, yeah, but I was okay. All right, why not? This is doable. But besides that, I enjoy that sort of time to see what happened to all the characters, see how everyone mature, change, and become better lives, and also admit this chapter's end. This see to the next chapter. The next show will completely continue on this sort of magic telling of a story, because I did enjoy it. Even though I feel it did a little slow at the very beginning, but they stuck the landing. You have to admit, the camera shot, the animation, the evolution, even the fight scenes, little moments, they pushed the budget. It just, cinema. I really did enjoy it. Even the story was very basic. You could do it in 20 minutes, but even that, I think 20 minutes will not accomplish what they needed because the task they have to do. But at the very end, they did it. It's one of the rare times that I am satisfied. I don't think it's a totally amazing 10 out of 10. To me, it's like a 9 out of 10. That's just me. I don't know how you felt about the finale. You feel it was great, amazing. You feel it fulfilled your all expectation. I did. Of course, there has one little thing they forgot to not to explain, but I'm not gonna bother because it doesn't really ruin the story or anything. It's something that I believe the theorists kind of answer that themselves. But besides that, I got nothing else to say. Just thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day. Bye.